Radio Sports Network, Indiana Football Digest Kickoff Classic from Beef O'Brady's in Granger, Indiana. Once again, this is our home spot for Thursday nights, the Coach's Box. You can join Tanner Camp and I every Thursdays from 6 to 7 right here on 91.1 FM. And just a quick reminder is that the Indiana Football Digest is available. www.indianafootballdigest.com. Please remember that. Also, in addition to that, keep in mind that some great content on our website as well as our YouTube channel at rrsn.com. And, of course, check out us on Colts.com/Indiana High School Football. Well, once again, glad to have Mike Davidson, the head football coach here at Marian High School, Mishawaka. Ironically, we have Mishawaka and Marian going back-to-back, and they're going to be playing each other on Friday back-to-back. Mike, I know this is you and I, we've spoken 3 or 4 times here in the last couple of weeks, and I know that one of the things that kind of has been heavy on your heart is, you know, this is a Mishawaka Marian team that last year went 2-8. Very uncharacteristic for a program that you've coached as well as been an assistant. Played, you understand it. 2-8 is, I'm going to use this term, it was just a hiccup in the big picture of things because I know that's not going to happen again. And you're going to tell me why it's not going to happen again.
These guys, you know, the players have bought in as far as getting back to the things that have made us successful over the years. And it's not X's and O's and you know, it's the character, the way we go about doing things, the effort and attitude that we put forth on a daily basis. And quite frankly, we got away from it. And these guys have done a great job as far as off season and these first couple of weeks of official season practices of getting back to that.
Well, I'm going to give you the tough question. You said you got away from it. I mean, there's a wide variety of things you got away from. And there could be injuries. It could be a wide variety of different situations. Athletes not performing at the level that you want them to. But once again, the great thing about coaching is those are all correctable situations. Now, I know that you're going to give me some coach speak now and talk about we're going to try to control the controllables. You may give me one of those particular lines. We're going to take it one practice at a time.
Come on, Paul. You're taking my answers.
So, but having said all that, I mean, 2-8, I mean, you're looking yourself in the mirror. And I know you know this, but the buck stops here. And I know this didn't sit well with you. I mean, for someone who is as competitive as you are, Michael, this just didn't sit well. So talk about how you had to realize that, okay, I need to do some soul searching here, and I got to fix some things, and I got to do this. So talk about how this is the inner battle that you had to deal with for the last 6 months.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, you do your soul searching after a season regardless of 2-8, 8-2,
sure,
12-3, whatever it is. Right. But 2-8 really makes you do a lot more soul searching. So, no, it certainly started with me, started with the coaching staff as far as letting those things get away. And I took full ownership of it. I you know, meeting with the team, we've done, I think, a much better job of communicating our expectations. And on top of that, you know, it's easy with the recent success that we've had. When we had, I think it was week 7 or 8 last year, we had 18 sophomores that were starting or rotating, and those guys didn't know how to win. They hadn't been through, as freshmen, going through a long season and doing everything off season wise that leads to success within the season. So certainly starts and stops with me, but the reality also of injuries and youth did add to that as well. So we've done a great job, and it starts with our senior class. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, you go as far as your seniors are going to take you. We have a lot of juniors and a lot of sophomores that are helping, contributing, some in bigger ways than some of the seniors. But ultimately, we're going to go as far as our seniors take us, and these guys have done a great job this offseason.
Well, one thing about it is failure is the greatest teacher there is. And so now you're in a situation, these guys learn from that. You brought a couple of guys with you here today. We're in the blue shirt at the end of the table, and Nick Klein, he's an offensive tackle, defensive end, senior. Bryce Lassane right here, the quarterback of the Knights, is also a senior wearing the white shirt. Glad to have the gentleman with us here today. And so Nick and Bryce, I'm going to start with you. I mean, there's nothing better than to hear from a coach who's going to not give you all the excuses of why he wasn't successful, but just to say, hey, listen, I'm going to shorten this in today's terminology. That's my bad. correct? I mean, that's what Mike says. That's my bad. I got to fix it.
I feel like the difference is from last year and this year. Last year we had a lot of excuses, and we definitely took them, especially me, going from a senior class full of receivers that are starters and then switching to that sophomore group and then having key starters like Nick Klein and Chris Briones having injuries before that season definitely give us some leeway to have that failure. And this year it's a lot different, the energy different. We have it on our back of our shirts that no excuses, so that's our motto. Expectations for you and how much you've matured at your position. I mean, your name's going to be in every quarter. It's going to be in every newspaper. It's going to be on Tanner Camp's mouth because he's going to be calling the games for the Knights this year. So you're going to be a guy that everybody knows about. Do you embrace those opportunities, or is those one of those things that you feel comfortable in? I get the feeling that you do. I definitely, you can say I embrace them, but I try to stay away from the big newsletters and stuff like that because definitely my sophomore year I had a lot of that, and I let it get to my head, then boom, we go 2-8. So I'm trying to stay away from that kind of stuff and just focus on the team and getting back to ourselves. How about you, Nick? I mean, you're playing both ways up front. That you're a guy that's going to have to make sure that you do what you got to do to get better. And as you look back on last year and how those failures are going to, really springboard you to a lot of success this season, your last year.
Yeah, so I think last year, especially being out, it was hard to see the team all bonding and uniting as a team. This year, I think we've done a tremendous job just getting teams, and we've been competing against each other, bonding with teammates competitively. So when game time happens, we're working as a team to get better, get the final end result as a win.
Mike's talked about the senior class, and I'd like for you to mention, both you guys, some of the guys in this senior class, because as Mike alluded to, if you're going to be able to turn things around, it's up to the seniors. So talk about your fellow classmates. It's your senior class. Who also is going to have to make plays?
Yeah, so Jake Murphy, he was injured last year. This year, he's not the loudest guy, but he gives it everything on this field. He will give 110% for you every single play, whether he's sick, even if he's hurt. He's grateful for every moment that he has on the field, and I trust him to make every play. I mean, he's a guy that we can rely upon at any moment, any situation, anytime, and he'll be there. Another injured guy, we got senior Chris Briones. He's a dog. He's going to always compete. He loves competing, and knowing that he had his junior season taken away from him, I know he's going to give it his all for us. Okay, we talked about seniors now. Mike's mentioned last year a lot of 10th graders. Those guys are now 11th graders. And Bryce, some special kids in that 11th grade class? Yeah, we got Braxton Brooks, we got Deuce Owens, Jack Darrow, Brian Osmond, Mark Warrington. They're all gonna do it for us. They're big parts of the offense, and I feel like they're gonna be some playmakers this year. Nick, can you think of anybody else, maybe a key sophomore that may be able to play? Who else that we haven't talked about should big expectations for? So another junior is just Gio, offensive tackle. He's a big help even talking with us. Like if we're ever on the line and there's a play and we don't know which one, we can all communicate. Those are all starters, but I think some sophomores, Seth Cruziter gives it all at practice. I mean, he's the reason why, he's making us better just by giving it all his practice. Lucas Smart, quarterback, always cheering people on, being the positive guy. Really making us go as a team. Okay, bringing it back here to you, Michael. Give us an idea as you look at the big picture with your group, offense, defense, special teams, all those got to be able to playing in concert to have some type of success. Where are you at offensively, defensively, special teams, and what things are you excited about seeing on Friday against the Cavemen? I'm really excited. I think we are – and I'm going to regret saying this because of the amount of injuries we had last year, but I like the depth that we've developed pretty much across the board. We aren't going from a senior 2 or 3 year starter down to a 10th grade with no experience or anything along those lines. We've done a good job rotationally getting. We're not deep as far as numbers, but we're getting guys in different places. And as far as our starters are concerned, offensively, we have a deep number of weapons that you can take away 1 or 2, maybe 3 of them, but we still got 4, 5, and 6 that are pretty darn explosive. And so I really like where we're at in that regard. It's going to be up to
the coaching staff to get the right play called, to get these guys in position to make the right plays.
How refreshing is it for you to be able to listen to Bryce Lassane say, you know, I had some success as a 10th grader, and it went to my head? Because you're always teaching guys, you can't let it get to your head, but they have to experience that. They have to experience failure to understand that there's success around the corner.
Without
so
doubt.
how cool is that to be here? I mean, he called himself out. I mean, that's a great place. That's tremendous leadership.
Bryce has grown up, and I think Nick as well. I think the senior class grew up a lot as juniors last year because they were relied upon to be those leaders, and it was my fault as far as not preparing them for that, not seeing that ahead of time. And so they've done a great job. Bryce is among one of them, one of the top ones as far as learning from that experience and not letting it take you down a negative path and letting it beat you up, but instead learning from it and developing positive habits as a result.
One thing that we're going to find out on Friday is, and I'm sure that Keith Kinder would be probably would say this, that we're either going to expose some weaknesses of Marian, or they're going to expose some weaknesses of ours. And I think that's really what you want. And here's your ultimate coach's cliche: the improvement from week 1 to week 2 is always the most important. So regardless, if you win the football game on Friday, you want to see Mishawaka expose some things, because you know if you're going to get on a good postseason run, the Cavemen is a great team to expose you to some situations that you need to see, because your teammates cannot expose that.
Certainly, and Friday night's not like a Wednesday night practice or a July 17th scrimmage or anything along those lines. So we certainly expect. I mean, they're one of many on our schedule as far as big, physical, extremely well coached. And we know that, yes, they're going to do a great job, hopefully not of exposing us as much as challenging us.
Sure.
And us hopefully having the ability to respond, make whatever in-game adjustments, whether it be personnel, schematically, whatever the case may be, so that our guys are learning that response mechanism that we failed to learn last year.
Big pictures type stuff. How many seniors, how many juniors, how many sophomores, how many freshmen are you looking at right now involving in the program? You know, just ballpark it for us.
Overall,
you have a big class. Sounds like that
overall
junior class. Big class.
Overall, we got. I think we're just over 80.
Okay.
Our senior class, we did lose one guy that we thought we were going to have to shoulder surgery for baseball. So we're at 13 with our seniors, which. It's a lot, even though it's only 3 more than last year. I think all but 2, if I'm not mistaken, are 4-year guys.
Wow.
And last year we had 10 seniors and only 5 were 4-year guys. It's a big jump for us. That junior class, I think we're up around 24, 25. The sophomore class is another good class, up just over 20, and then. Right now at freshman, we're at 26, if I'm not mistaken. So
numbers are good.
Numbers are good. I'm really, really excited about that, and we're doing a good job at the younger levels. We haven't had the results because we had a really small senior class last year, so we've been forced to not have a freshman team and just strictly a JV team. So we haven't had the results on the field for those guys, but you're seeing it when guys that are sophomores that played against sophomores and juniors as freshmen, they're that much more prepared from a physical standpoint,
sure.
at least. So we're seeing the results of that, and I really, really like where our program's heading in that direction.
Once again, special thanks to Mike Davidson of Mishawaka Marian High School. Thanks to Nick and Bryce for joining us here on the program. We'll be back with more of our continuing coverage of the 2023 Indiana Football Digest Kickoff Classic. We'll be back with more right after this on 91.1 FM The Globe and Regional Radio Sports. 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good job, boys. Good job, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Bryce, great job, buddy. Who is next? Hey, buddy, great job. Appreciate you, Nick.
Washington, you guys are up. sit right next to Paul here. I want Coach to sit next to Paul.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. How you doing? Do we have name tags for everybody? All right, Vic, hold that right there. Vic, what is the position coach that you are?
I am the offensive coordinator.
Okay. Victor Cummings, right?
Yes. Coach Shea was just running a few minutes.
I get you. No worries, man. I'll go glad your guys are here.
Thank you, God.
All right. All right, then. Tanya, can you do me a favor and grab a couple of Indiana Football Digests and put them on the table? Do we have name tags for the boys? All right, so grab some names, Tanya, real quick, and so I know who I'm talking to here real quick. Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Glad you can join us here for the Indiana Football Digest Kickoff Classic from Beef O'Brady's. Once again, thanks to our staff here for the great work that they have done putting this program together. We're going to be talking South Bend Washington Panther football. We have Vic Cummings here, the coordinator for the squad's going to join us here momentarily and get some thoughts from the boys here. But thanks again to our coaches who have taken the time to join us so far today. Nate Andrews from Northwood, Corey Stoner from Jimtown, Jeff Kaiser from LaVille High School, Keith Kinder from Mishawaka High School, Mike Davidson from Marian, and now we're going to bring in the boys from the west side, and we're going to thank those guys for joining us in here. Vic, all right, as the coordinator for this football team, talk to me about how things are going from last year's group that went 2-8. Are you guys making strides?
We are making strides, man. Things are going really well. I think as a collective, we're very pleased with where we are right now. We're still, trying to push forward and, get better every day, just like everybody else is. But, as of now, man, we're in a really good place.
As the offensive coordinator of this group, and certainly this group is an athletic group, and we certainly know that going in. And but anytime there's a coaching change, and I know Coach Jay Johnson, I've known Jay for years now, and just talk about I'm guessing that Jay coming in is a breath of fresh air. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, just him as a person is like a breath of fresh air, man. He's a super good guy. He's somebody I consider a brother. He's like family to me. And, for our guys, kind of going from, speaking from an offensive standpoint, going from the offense that they played in to, what we're running now. I mean, it was a bit of a transition period, but the guys seem to be picking it up very well. We have amazing energy at practice. We got really good numbers, and everybody is just bought in and pushing forward. All
right, so I'm going to have you introduce the guys. We'll start from and we'll go from left to right. So guys, look into the camera there. Who do we got here, Vic?
We got Mekhi Wilson. He's going to play some running back and some slot for us. Sean. He's a big fella holding down on the offensive line, and we got Jaquan Patton here.
All right, so we're going to start with the big fella. We got to give the big fella some love right from the get-go. Sean, talk to me about the transition, having Jay coming in. Obviously, Vic is the guy who's calling the shots on the offense. Has it been? I'm going to use this terminology lightly. Has it been seamless transition, going from having Jay as the previous? Compared to the previous coach, Todd?
It's been great. I like the effort every day. We're ready to work. So, I don't know. It's different. We have to learn every day, the new offense and stuff, but it's kind of easy.
It's easy and difficult at the same time. I kind of like that mindset because it's easy. That means somebody's getting taught, right, Vic?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Everybody's learning. Everybody's on board, and, we pushing forward every day, just working to be better.
All right, so tell us about how Sean has grown. He's going to be playing center, tackle, it'll be some nose guard, so he's going to be holding up the dinner line here after we get done here. He's going to make sure that there's no food left over. So when you have a big guy like that who's able to play so many versatile positions on the offense or the defensive line, how important is that in the development of your football team?
It's huge. It's huge because not only is he a versatile athlete who's picked things up amazingly well, but he's a leader. He's one of our captains, especially up front. He's somebody that holds these young men accountable, as well as, the other two guys I got sitting with me. He's somebody that is a great, teacher for the young fellas that are coming aboard. And it's just been amazing having him.
Yeah, at 6 foot, 295 pounds. He's kind of an immovable object, though, isn't he? Nobody can move him, and that's what you want, right?
He can move people against their will. He can move other big fellas against their will.
And
he's
that's
smart.
That's good. So, Sean, keep up the great work, man. All right, let's get some thought here from Mr. Wilson. Give me some thought from him. Mackay's playing running back, free safety, wide receiver. So, talk to me about him.
Mackay is another really great leader. Of course, he's fast. He's a track star, amazing guy to have around as well. And he can catch it, he can run it. I think he threw it some last year, so that might be a little wrinkle we can add in. He's just like a playmaker.
Okay, Mackay, I want you to tell me a little bit about Coach Jay Johnson coming in and talk about how he's influenced the squad here early on.
With him coming in, we have made more changes, made things easier for us. It's been hard, though, a little bit of learning new things, being able to expand. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
Can you talk to me about terminology? Did he simplify things for you guys from a terminology standpoint?
Yeah, he did.
I think that's one of the hardest things that athletes really kind of grasp is when Coach A calls a whatever the terminology may be. They may call this box a red box, and somebody call this a blue box with red trim and black trim. But the names of the things are different. Just like position names are different. Somebody calls a cornerback, somebody calls it a defensive back, but it's still all the same thing. So, was the terminology overwhelming for you?
No, it wasn't. It was easy to learn. It was just taking the process and taking the time too.
So talk to me about chemistry with your group so far. Do you like the chemistry of your team?
Yes, I love the chemistry of my team, but it just needs to get better over time. It's still work in progress.
So we got a bunch of seniors here today, so you guys, excuse me, find yourself in a pivotal role because you want to make sure that the generations of Panthers coming behind you are going in the right direction. How do you do that?
Just being a good leader and holding it down for them, just making the things step by step better for them, better for us.
Does that start with the coaching staff, you feel?
Yes, it does, but it also starts with us too.
Boy, I like that, Coach Vic. That's it, man. When you understand personal accountability, that is awesome.
And when you got guys like that show up every single day and they hold themselves accountable and, they set a good example for the young guys, it makes it a lot easier. That transition can be rough, but, having, young men like this just makes it.
Let's get some thoughts here from Jaquan Patton, another running back, cornerback, a senior from Washington High School in South Bend. Jaquan, talk to me about, from your position as a guy who's either getting the ball in his hands or trying to take the ball away from people from a defensive back standpoint. Do you like the way the defense is going? And is the defense ahead of the offense right now, or is the offense ahead of the defense going into game one? What do you think?
As of right now, in the beginning of our season, the offense is definitely ahead, hands down.
Well, I think Vic loves that. He's buying dinner now, man.
No, I only say that because our defense is also it's young, but our offense is the way we run the ball. I was a running back for the last 2 years, so I'm accustomed to how running the ball, my vision, and how I hit gaps. I got experience with that. So it's not very much of a change, especially with Sean being on the line. He's been on the line since he was a freshman. Mackay as well. We've always been on the offensive side of the ball. Whether it was a run offense, pass offense, spread, we've always been there. So we're experienced.
For you, 101 carries last year, 464 yards. From a statistical standpoint, do you think you can improve on those numbers?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, then my next question is, there's a whole bunch of guys up front blocking,
right,
including Mr. Peck over there. Who else on that offensive line has got to make holes for you? I hope you know these guys' names because you need to be taking them out. You need to be taking them out to dinner every night of the week if you have to.
My guard, Elias Smith. He's a less experienced guy than Sean, but he's definitely getting there. He's making this work. Yes, definitely.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to stay put, boys, because what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Jay. Jay's here now, and Vic, I know you don't mind hopping out. We're going to take a 60-second timeout, come back with more Panther football. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back here on 91.1 FM The Glo and Regional Radio Sports.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at Marines.com.